Hello, hello, scrappy friends. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday. My name is Diane Gutierrez, and I am a Creative Memories Advisor located in Southern California. Today's recipe, and I'm back in my National Park book. If you've been following along, I'm trying to do the last few pages in my daughter's book so I can give it to her for Christmas. I think she's really going to be excited about this first edition. I have a lot more to do. I just printed photos for that, and I printed over 200 photos, so I have a lot more to scrap, and we're barely scratching the surface, so I have to get going. I have a little dilemma today because I have to get 14 photos on this two-page layout, so let me flip over and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Let me show you the recipe first, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to conquer the recipe and how I'm going to conquer getting those 14 photos on this page. We're on page 78. It's project recipe 37. It looks like this. I'll hold it up. And again, if you don't have the book and you want a printout of this, you can head over to my blog at Diane Gutierrez Scrapbooking. I'll put a link in the description. You can go get a printout. It's not going to be the same. It has different papers, but actually, I'm going to tell you, I like the one on the blog much better than this one in the book today. This one is very simple. That's why I picked it for today. The other one is just as simple, but it looks a little bit more elevated, in my opinion. Maybe it's the paper choices. They did some more decorating with some border stickers on that one, so I think that's pretty fun. You'll see here on the left-hand page, they got 5 photos. I love that. And then 2 over here. So first change I'm going to make is I have to get the 14 on here. I have the perfect photos to cut down. Actually, I didn't cut them down. I printed them smaller and then trimmed them down. So what I'm going to do is take this page here where they have the 5, and I'm going to do basically a mirror image over here. These 2 rows will stay the same. I'm going to take a row of 3 photos and place it over here. That's going to give me 10 photos, and I'll still have to get 4 more, and I'm going to bring in a peekaboo pocket for that. I'm going to keep it pretty much the same as this. I'm going to have to move some things around a little bit, but I think for the most part, you're going to see that I'm going to keep it pretty much similar to what we have here. The special feature on this layout is this double punch here. Basically, they took a border making cartridge and they punched out 2 of them. Maybe not much of a special feature, but we don't have that normally just in the middle of our layout. I think this is pretty. I am going to have to move mine around somewhere. Still going to bring in that concept, just bringing it somewhere else on the page. Go look at the one on the blog because they have a nice one here as well where they decorated more in between those 2. Other than that, I'm going to cut the same papers, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to get a few minor changes. You'll see I have a lot of notes on today's recipe because once I cut the papers, then I'm just going to make it work for my layout. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside and kind of walk you through what papers I'm going to use. Because if you were with me a couple weeks ago when I was working in her National Park book, I was using Fast to Fab pages. Here it is. Yes, I pulled it out of the book. I disassembled the book so that I can show you guys and so I can work on this page. And so if you remember, this is where the peekaboo pocket is. It's a 6x12 large pocket here that held, I believe it was 3 and 3, so 6 more photos on this. Here it was Bryce Canyon. And when I left that video, I was like, well, let's see if I'm going to be able to incorporate this page in, because that would be great. I don't have to waste the Fast to Fab page. And then so after that video, I thought, well, yeah, this was from Leave It Nothing Behind. That whole collection is based on national parks. So I should be able to incorporate this. And so I really challenged myself. And I dipped into my little kit that I created for this. And I did have a whole piece of this paper left. So I was very happy about that. It matches nicely. The back side is one of my favorite pieces, this wood grain. So I'm not disappointed about that at all. I'm going to try and get some of that on this or maybe save it for another layout. And so let's talk about the background first, because I want to create a very similar background to what they have here. This will basically be our background. We'll talk about this first and then we'll get to cutting, because this is going to help make a lot more sense. So I liked this paper stripe here that they had. It's just a little bit of a gray stripe, and I could not find that paper. I could not find something in my stash that was matching that exactly. I did have this one though. I believe this is from Silver and Gold collection, and so I thought, well, I liked this one just as much. So what I'm gonna do is take a cut of this and cover up this part. So really that's the only part I'm gonna cover up, and then the rest will come on the other side, and that's when I'll bring in this paper and put a little chunk at the other end. And then I did have to dip into my stash for other colors. I liked how they had brown and gray here. I thought brown and gray is perfect, matches what I need. I think this was Wonderful Day. I'm gonna use this for the punch out and for some photo mats, which is paper number 1. It'll be the 2 punch outs, the photo mats. I brought in 2 pieces because I have those extra photos that I need to photo mat as well, so everything seems cohesive and that it belongs together. And then my third piece will be this, and I can't remember which collection this came out of. It just came out of my stash, but it's tan. I loved the color. It matched the little tan specks in the paper over here. And then I have a little bit of cardstock that I'm gonna bring in. I'm gonna have to photo mat a couple photos here, these 4x4 photos, and I'm not sure that I want to use, that would be the wood grain. So I'm not sure, so I brought in some gray just to bring out the gray in the striped paper. So we'll see. Let me get some of this put aside. Let's work on the base page first, and then we'll do some cutting. Okay, this spot right here measures about 3 1/4. It wasn't exactly, but it was close enough. I might hang into the green a little bit. We'll see. So that's 3 1/4. It'll come right here, and then the rest will come on the other side. So that means I need a 3 1/4 inch piece over here. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to cut on this side so I can see the planks of wood. And we're gonna put this one aside for a little bit and see if we want to come back. And this green strip here is from Leave Nothing Behind. There is a pattern paper. I have been using that one a lot, so I don't have a strip of that left, of course, right? But I do have some scraps. I'm going to make my own strip. I have these 2 chunks left. That's why we save our scraps, right? I just need to do looks like about a 1/2 inch strip, so let's do that. It will have a seam. Maybe I could embellish over it. That's the background. Let's do some other cutting. We're gonna do the punch outs first. This morning, as I'm kind of putting everything together for today's live, I thought of Diamond Link, and I kind of like Diamond Link a little bit better right now. So I'm gonna go with Diamond Link right now. If I don't like it, I brought in an extra piece, I'll change it. But I can't imagine I'm gonna be changing it, but we'll see. So for the punch out, I'm going to use this piece here. It's brown on one side and gray on the other. I think it's gonna be perfect for this page. Those colors are gonna blend nicely. And I need to do 2 strips of this. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to cut some photo mats. The photo mats will be for the 6x4 photos. So it's a pretty large photo mat. It's 6.5 by 4.5. We're gonna keep it like that. If I need to trim it down, I still can do that. And now this piece, not quite big enough. So I'm really glad right now that I brought in that extra piece, because I need to do 2 strips. So they have in the recipe a 3 1/4 inch square, which would be perfect for what I had. There's a little bit left, but I didn't seem to have that. Maybe my punch is different, takes up a little bit more room. But I need 6 of these anyway, and I'm going to go up to 3.5 inches. So my picture is a little bit bigger. These will be 3.5, and my picture will be 3.25. So let me go ahead and do 6 of those. We are on to this cut here, paper number 2, which for me is the tan paper. And this is going to be basically layering behind. I'm going to show you the sample again because it's right back here behind the photos. And it's basically one sheet, and this little brown strip is the reverse side. Just wanted to point that out. So this is layering behind my photos, and I need a 9-inch piece. Then I'm going to turn it, and I need a 7.5-inch piece, which is this one, and a 4.5-inch piece on the other side. And then with this piece, we're going to do another 9-inch cut. This part's scrap. Technically, we're going to use this side right there. I think that adds a little bit of texture and interest to your page, so we'll look at doing that. I do want to come back in with the cardstock because here for designer paper number 3, we already cut the strip we needed out of the gray stripe. That would be this one. This part I'm not using, and I need these 2 photo mats. I'm going to do them out of gray now and maybe save my wood grain for another layout. These are 4.5-inch frames. There, that should be all of my cutting. Let's see. I might have to make a couple adjustments. So I have my 3.25 inch photos. And let's see. Okay, so this one I liked a lot because it has the name of the park that she's at. It's just the road trip with both my daughters. And so here they're at the Pinnacles. And so I'm going to use that instead of creating a title today. And let's see, on this side, I believe it was the vertical is up. The 4x6 is the top photo, and then the 4x4 is the other photo down here. It looks like this. I have plenty of room to keep it all right here on the open green part. And then on this page, we're going to do the same thing, but this time the vertical photo is going to come down here, the 4x4 right here, and then here's the 3 I cut down. This is the one I think it's not the same size. So that's 10. That's 10 photos. I still need to get those extra 4 on here. So what I decided was the peekaboo pocket. I already preloaded them so I can show you my idea. And my idea is this. On this photo down here, I'm going to have a double peekaboo pocket. So basically this photo here is her looking at a map, and it will open like this, and then she'll see the different scenic areas that she stopped in, and then she'll open it one more time. I'll tuck these little flaps underneath. I have to think about that one because it'll be on top of the page protector, but it'll work. And so she'll open this one and be able to see all the extra photos that she has, and this will be the bottom photo. Okay, so it'll be like a little book right here. And that's how I'm going to get the 14 photos on. So let me put those aside. I don't need those until I go to get it in the album. Okay, so what about all the stuff we just cut out? Let's see. I think definitely these need mats over here. They're getting really lost in that paper. To help make those photos pop out a little bit. I thought anything else up here, especially with the stripes and with the green back there, might be too much. So gray it is. I like it. Okay, now for the layers of the behind the photos. These are the papers that we cut. The big one goes over here on the left-hand side. There we go. I like that. It's right behind there, and it looks pretty good. Kind of tones down that green behind, but you can still see it, and it still highlights the photos. The green in the photos pops through, and so does the brown. I like it a lot. Now on this side, there we go. I have my title there, and I just need a journaling area. For that, I went into my stash. The shade is not perfect. You know me, I'm not going to be matchy-matchy. I think the green brings out all the different shades of green that she sees in nature. Could use just right here on the gray paper because it's already lined, but why not bring in a little bit extra pop? I keep putting it down here at the bottom because what I think I'm going to do is, here they have the 2 double punch outs. I'm going to bring them now in here, and well, I have some options. I do want to trim them down. I don't want them to run the 12 inches top to bottom. So I could either trim them down and still have them coming out, excuse me, the top and the bottom of the card, or just have them at the top of the card. So let's trim them down first. I like the darker one on the darker brown on the inside. I do like them kind of tucked together. Here's what it would look like running just at coming out of the journaling area. We still can go under, or I could cut them down a little more and not have it touching at all. Little decisions, right? I guess I had to come across something to contemplate today. I think I'm going to do something like this. I'll have it coming out the top and then just go with that. It's cute. Okay, so where am I going to embellish, and what am I going to embellish with? Well, in our original, that's one of the reasons I picked it, is because it is very simple. They had 2 embellishment clusters, one right here, which would be probably on this side now. And then they did some in my favorite spot, which is on top of that journaling spot. If that's the case, we'll move up our journaling area just a tad. Okay, I just brought in my stickers I've been working with on everything else. There's several on here I like. I do like these down here. I would probably only use those 2. That would be better for a different park. The pine cone is nice, the sprig. Okay, let's start playing. I'm going to take off the sticky so that we could move it around. Let's kind of put that. I like it. It's like a little view. You know, when you look out at a view. Do we want both of them together? I have no plan today, so you get to see live in action. Maybe tuck that. Oh, so far I'm liking it. And a pine cone, I'm gonna wait. So the second page, that came pretty easy so far. The second page, I don't have a cluster base. Pull out my box. I put my little scraps or unused pieces in a box just for this reason. And then I like to just go through my box and find something. Oh, brown is nice. This is what I do. I go through and I pick out a few and then narrow it down. Oh, look, I have a wood grain, a tag. Okay, I know if I'm going to use brown, I'm going to use the one that has a little bit of a pattern. That's cute. I could do 2. I could do, nope, I'm not liking that one at all. The tag. Of course, I'm going to go for the tag, right? Because, oh, darn. But I have a lot of room actually over here because I have nothing else for this. Could always sneak in a little photo right there. But let's keep that one handy. Let's keep both those handy in case. I could shrink the tag a little bit, I suppose. But it does look pretty good with this. Let's put it something like this. And I have this little pine cone that goes right, that's going to go right there. Okay. We're going to work with that. Actually, let me come back to that one. I want to make sure I have these. This sticker sheet had a lot of great quotes, and I really want to make sure I spread these out throughout her album. If I'm using brown, I'm going to go for green probably. Let's see. Yeah, the green is calling me. It says, leave the road, take the trails. And I feel like I already have words up there. Okay, that's okay. Let's see where else. We could actually bring it in on one of the photos. How about this one? She's actually walking, maybe off to the side so you can still see the blue. Maybe we'll do something like that. What do we have on this page? I like the arrows. Go for the green one and this kind of tannish looking one. Okay. One right at the edge of that nature walk. And then maybe one more, we can do something like this, like it's pointing back in. I think I am going to trim down that tag just a little bit. I did bring in some other things here. I like the trail sign because it covers that seam. Okay, I'm gonna go with that right there. I'll hold these for another layout. And I think we're good. Let's see if I have gems. I have a couple different ones that would probably work. Oh, these ones aren't gonna be perfect. I don't want the glittery ones. Do we want green or brown? Green or brown? Green. That's a darker green. That's okay. We're gonna put it right here on the little circle. And then over here, I think I'm gonna go with the darker brown. Let's see, I'm gonna come up here. Yeah, that's cute. I'm gonna put one over here. Let's go with the darker green. Maybe right there. Okay, that's the gist of my layout. I will get everything adhered down and put a photo in on my Facebook page so you can see it, and I'll get it in the album so that you can then see my peekaboo pocket. I'm gonna have to think about that one. My plan was to stick the little tab underneath because I feel like if the two tabs are on that photo, kind of distracting, which means I won't be able to adhere it to the top of the album. I will have to probably slice the album and pull it through, or the page protector, and pull it through. So we will work on that, but it'll go right down here. Make a little book so she can have more photos and full-size photos. There we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Again, I'm just going to remind you we have one more Keeping It Simple episode left for this year. And in the series, we're going to retire this series using the book, but I am going to have a new series starting next year. It's going to be the same concept. We're still going to get quick pages done, easy cuts, easy page design to get an album done next year. So I hope that you come back and join me. Okay, take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.